Hey guys, Cassandra Bodzak here. Thanks for tuning in for another LightMAYker video. Today I want to talk to you about releasing guilt. This is a topic that has come up for me a lot and has come up for almost all of my clients that I've spoken to this week so far. So I was like, you know what, this is something that should be addressed. And the span of guilt, it's pretty wide, right? So it's everything from something as small as something that I'm like tripping over it. Something that I've felt guilty about is oversleeping. That's something that's like definitely a pattern for me. I've been getting up for SideNet almost every day around 4:35, and sometimes I oversleep and I won't wake up until like 6 or whatever, and I just don't hear my alarm, and then I wake up with this like tremendous weight of guilt on me. And this past week, I was actually finally able to release that when it actually was the night before, and I was thinking about it because I was like, this is ridiculous that I'm feeling this guilt. I know that's not the truth, and that if I'm really trusting my body and I'm really centered in myself, that I'm waking up exactly when I'm supposed to wake up. And how many times I know I have, or maybe you have, woken up in the middle of the night, or you had a flight to catch and you forget to set your alarm, but you actually wake up at 4 a.m. anyway, just in enough time to get all your stuff and go. Our body is not stupid. Our body knows what it needs. It is able to wake us up when we're supposed to wake up. So, it's not like I'm going out drinking or doing anything crazy the night before. If my body is not waking up, my body simply needs more rest or does not want to wake up at that time. And just honoring that and listening to that and being like, okay, so it's not a big deal. So I start at 6 today, or I start at 7:30, whatever it is, just kind of honoring where it's at and just releasing that guilt immediately. And the other kind of guilt that has been coming up for some of the people I work with is around decisions they're making. And I think sometimes when we get into our spiritual head, we can almost use it to overthink things, or, we make decisions, let's say about a relationship, let's say about our career, whatever it is, we make these decisions, and then when we're looking back at them, we're like, well, why did I do that? I know that was like, now looking at it, I can clearly see that wasn't in my highest good, that wasn't my most expansive choice, that I should have chose the other one. And we again allow that guilt in. And guilt is like this like sabotaging cloud, like infects the day. That's how I feel about it. I feel like it infects you. It infects the day. And when we see, even in those situations, right, when we're looking back at perhaps prior decisions that we have made, and you're, wishing that you had done something different, I was telling one of my clients today that it's actually, perhaps that exactly is how you're supposed to learn the lesson. Maybe if you had made that choice in the moment, that lesson wouldn't be so clear for you right now. But right now, because you made that choice that maybe wasn't the most expansive choice at the time, but was the perfect choice for you. Because now, let's say a month later, 3 months later, 6 months down the line, you can look back and see very clearly, from a very centered place, what the expansive choice is. And that's how you really learn the lesson. And sometimes we're able to learn the lesson right away. We're able to see the two things in front of us and say, I'm going to choose the more expansive choice right now. I'm going to choose this because this is going to light me up, and this is, going to be for my highest good right now. And we can choose that choice, and that's great. And then that's the path that happens. But sometimes when we choose the one that's not in our highest good, because at that time, with the knowledge we have, with the intuition we're working with, that feels like the choice we're supposed to make right then, and that's perfect. That choice is perfect, and perhaps that is why you're supposed to learn the lesson a little bit down the road. And when we look at it as simply just different ways of learning in that way, then we can release all the guilt around it, because there is nothing to feel guilt about. Guilt is just an illusion of our mind. So if there's something that you're feeling guilty of, or you wake up and perhaps it's, kind of clouding. I feel like guilt can be this, like I said, like this cloud that really can get in the way of you being your best self in that moment. Really look for either of those two ways as possible releasing. So on one way, trusting your body and where you are at that moment, where I was talking about with the waking up and realizing like, okay, right now, this is where I'm at, and I love me right where I'm at. And maybe some days where I'm at is not waking up at 4:30 in the morning, and that's okay. That's okay. And just when I have that moment, and I just like, okay, thank you, body, for doing what you knew was best for me, and I love myself right where I'm at, even if that means right now my body is not trying to get up at 4 a.m. And same thing for those of you out there who maybe have made some choices in the past that right now, looking back, you wish you had done something different. Realize that is the lesson, and that's perfect. That's exactly how you're supposed to learn it. So there's nothing to feel guilt about, and now you've learned it. Now it was really sunk in. I joke around with my clients that it's like it starts here where we think we know what to do, and then slowly it travels down until we really learn it here. When we learn it here, that's when we're always going to make that choice. That's when we really have gotten that lesson in us, when it's in our heart. So I hope this video helps you. I hope if you're struggling with guilt about something right now, that you're able to use one of those two approaches or both of them to really blast past it and remember the truth, and truly just give yourself a big love bomb around it so that you can just see clearly again and get back on track. So I would love to hear from you. Leave in the comments below if there is, perhaps something you're feeling guilty around or something that's going on that you need a little bit more guidance on. I would love to hear from you as far as if these two techniques have helped you out. I'd love to hear that as well. So don't forget to comment below and subscribe for more videos from me every week right here on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a great rest of the week.